One of the most difficult parts of creating shutters is creating the slots for the louvers. And I've seen on YouTube, I've seen other people who make really long, large templates, and they have to use a jigsaw by hand and cut everyone out. And they use a template for that. I decided that I didn't want to try to risk the inconsistencies in trying to create so many of those. Instead, what I did is I created one. So I have one slot, and then a pin. You can see it from this side. One slot, a holder for the piece of for the rail, and then a pin as a stop. So after you get your first one cut, you use that pin to catch the bottom of that slot, and you can move on and just keep going. So in this video, I'm going to be showing you how I built my jig to create the slots for the louvers on shutters. So to get started, I've got a piece of scrap plywood. I've put a 1/2 inch slot here that is going to be the length of my louver. And the reason that it's 1/2 inch is that I'm going to be using a 1/2 inch template. This is a 1/2 inch outside diameter, and it's a little over 10 millimeters on the inside, and then I've got a 10 millimeter bit that I'll be using to cut the slots in the louvers. After I get the placement of this, I've also got my center here, and I've also got another center here that I've marked out with a drill bit. And I've also got the angle of my louvers. My louvers happen to be about 152 degrees, so I've captured that here, and then I just transfer that onto here. Now, the rails, or the frame of the shutter is 40 millimeters wide, and you need that 40 millimeter wide frame to sit perfectly balanced around this slot. So both sides need to be roughly equal. What I did is I figured out that this distance from here to here, and then I subtracted the 40 millimeters here, and I got 10.5. So I divided up to 10.5. So about 5 1/4, and I placed a line at about 5 1/4 away from there. Then I used my actual workpiece on that line, and I make another line, sort of just as a reference to see if I'm roughly in the right, roughly at the right width. So now what I need to do is I need to make these holes for these dowels. These are 10 millimeter dowels, and I know that if this is the edge of the board, then I need to have a hole at right at 5 millimeters. So there's my 5, and there's my 5. So I would put two 10 millimeter holes there. I'll put the board up against those dowels as soon as I get them drilled and in. Push it against there, and I'll use a 10 millimeter drill bit to mark the holes. If you don't do that, what happens is this moves quite a bit. So you can see how that fits in there, and that's pretty tight. So then the next thing to do is we're going to measure the offset for the stop. So I know that that's my center. I can feel it's probably hard to see, but there's a little indentation there from the drill bit. And I need to move along this line here. I need to move along this line here 40 millimeters from here to the center. I've already marked it out, so that would be, those are roughly my holes. So I'll drill these 2 holes first, place the board, use a drill bit to mark, drill those holes, and then I'll drill another hole 40 millimeters away, because that's the distance between, from center to center, that's the distance to from each louver. And then that gives me my stop. And the way that works, I can push the stop in, and if I want to put another one below that one, I can just slide this in, and now it's seated. I'll give it a little tap so it's flat there. And now I can put my router on top of that and just follow that slot. So now when I want to make the mirror image of these slots, which is this slot going the other way, I just flip the jig over and push the dowels through. And that's it.